Let's talk about advanced directives and why they aren't just for the elderly. Take a moment and think about what the word advanced directives means to you. You got it? You may not know anything about advanced directives. That's okay. This presentation will go through the basics of what they are, how they benefit all adults, and what you can do to implement one in your life. You may think that advanced directives are orders that tell first responders what you would want or not want in the case of an emergency. That is partially correct, but there's so much more to advanced directives that applies to all aspects of life and not just to the elderly or end of life situation. So here's the nitty-gritty on advanced directives. Advanced directives is a blanket term that kind of covers any document that specifies your wishes to others in the case that you aren't able to speak for yourself. There's a couple different kinds. There's a healthcare power of attorney. That states who should make decisions in the event you are unable to make them for yourself. There's also living wills that specify what, if any, life-saving measures you are okay with if you could not speak for yourself. And also, you can specify if your healthcare power of attorney can make changes to the decisions in your living will if you choose to have both documents. There's also a couple of North Carolina standardized forms, the goldenrod or do not resuscitate form, and a medical order for scope of treatment or MOST form. They're only available through a healthcare provider and are medical orders given based on the patient's wishes. These are more frequently seen in facility-to-facility transfers, long-term care, rehab. We won't be discussing these today. A little known fact about advanced directives is there are no federal regulations or guidelines. Each state creates their own recognized advanced directive. So if you frequently travel to multiple states, you'll need to ensure that your advanced directive meets the criteria for every state you travel to, or it may not be recognized. North Carolina provides forms for use, but does state that it will honor any format as long as it is signed by the individual, two unrelated witnesses, in the presence of a notary public. North Carolina law also states that if no guardian or healthcare proxy is designated, they recognize in this order individuals who would speak on the behalf of someone else. First would be a spouse. If there's no spouse, then it would be parents or adult children. If neither of those are living or present, then it would be siblings, 18 and older. And if no siblings, then it would be a person with an established relationship, such as a friend. Where this becomes an issue is in the event that you have a long-term partner who's not your spouse. They are not going to be the one that's allowed to speak for you on your behalf if you have parents, adult children, or siblings. They would fall into category 4, but that's not what you wanted. That's not your wish. Another scenario that happens frequently is, you're not close to your parents. You're unmarried. You're not close to your parents. You have a sibling that you have discussed all of this with. They know your ins and outs. But if it's not documented, then the living parents are going to be the one who speaks for you. This is the biggest issue that I see personally for advanced directives, especially in the hospital. So keep that in mind as we're going through these next couple slides. To understand what Johnson County first responders see as the biggest issue with advanced directives, I sent out a voluntary survey of 5 questions. These 2 were the most revealing. 65% of respondents agreed that advance directives reduce their level of stress when responding to an emergency. And the two most common issues seen with advance directives are the original copy not being available and family disagreeing with the advance directive. Almost 90% of respondents have experienced an original copy not being available, and about 56% have experienced a family disagreeing with the advance directive. So these are the two areas that I'm going to focus on moving forward talking about advance directives. So choosing a healthcare proxy, that can be a touchy subject. You really need to do some good reflection. Think about who do you trust and would want to speak on your behalf if you were unable to do so. Really, the only limitation is that person needs to be 18 or above. But it could be a spouse or a partner, an adult child, an adult sibling, friend. Once you have that person in mind, you need to verify with them that they're comfortable with this role. Some people may not. They may feel it's too much pressure, too much stress. And you also need to notify the loved ones around you of your decision and who you choose in order to eliminate any confusion or miscommunication in the event of an emergency. Once you have a person in mind and that person is in agreement, have open and frequent conversations about your wishes with them. Make sure that you document this in any format you wish. I have a North Carolina form linked at the end of this presentation. And make sure that you, your proxy, and your healthcare provider all have a current copy. And try to keep your copy on your person, in your wallet, on the fridge, so that in the event that you're unconscious, it can be found and the correct person can be contacted. It's normal for your wishes to change throughout life. Advance directives should be reevaluated at any major life change, or at least every few years. The reason being is, say you did choose your sibling, but now you've gotten married. That form needs to be updated so that your spouse can be your healthcare power of attorney if you choose. You do not have to change. But these major life changes such as marriage, a birth of a child, divorce, retirement, those are the times to be looking at making sure your advance directives are up to date and they're still what you wish. The Conversation Project is a national public engagement campaign from the Institute of Healthcare Improvement dedicated to assuring that everyone's wishes for care are expressed and respected. Their goal is to raise awareness and provide free, easy-to-use guides on their website. I have linked those guides at the end of this presentation. They have great resources not only for individuals, but for healthcare providers and community workers on how to promote advance directive use in your community. Thank you for attending my presentation. I hope you learned a little bit about advance directives and why every adult over the age of 18 should have one. Above are a few links to the Conversation Project's Conversation Starter Guide in English, Spanish, and a video version so that you can continue to explore what your wishes are and who you would choose to be your healthcare proxy. And the very last link is a North Carolina Healthcare Power of Attorney form. This is a fillable PDF. You can fill it out online. Just make sure that it's signed, witnessed, and notarized all at the same time in front of the notary public. Thank you, and have a great day.